I think of Pete, I think of his consistency and the vision that he's had throughout his career.
I can remember we were doing some kind of study in the downtown, and we had big paper maps rolled out on a table. And Pete grabbed a pen and he put a dot right where Cadillac is, and he put another dot in the Queensgate shopping area. And at the time, I think like Walmart was the only thing that was out there. Walmart and the city shops. And we had big dreams about what Queensgate could be. And he took those two dots and he took a different color and he connected them. And he said to the consultant, he said, no matter what you do in this downtown, this is gonna happen one day. This is like 20 years ago, right? And it's something that I've never forgotten. I remember that moment.
I think the best thing that Pete brings to the table is just his knowledge. I mean, he knows everything that goes on in every part of his division. I can show up anytime, anywhere, and ask him a question about something, and he'll say, yeah, I think back in '95 we did this, and you go, and then right on the money, you go dig and find it, and there it is.
I go up there, I can ask him a question from 1995, and he'll know the answer. And be able to pull that right out of his head, you know, with no hesitation. It's unreal.
His ability to listen and reason, and he's been so supportive of all of our big projects.
His ability, I think, to manage multiple disciplines at once. Richland's a unique city because we have not just water and sewer and streets. You know, we have a landfill. You know, we have a composting program. We have all this other stuff that we do. We're really full service, and instead of just being over one or two disciplines, you know, he was in charge of all of them.
Conversations with Pete aren't always short.
You can learn a lot from the long way to a short answer.
But they're effective, and you walk away with more knowledge than what you had before you started a conversation. And that's something I appreciate about Pete. He's just competent.
And anybody who's worked with Pete knows that you get a lot of information, and if you just sit back and kind of digest that, you can actually learn a lot about what's going on and the processes and how things work and what's behind the decisions that are made. And it gives you a little more confidence in what's happening.
He was a big champion of making sure that the citizens were number one and we took care of them.
He has a really good sense of humor, and it's really fun to get him laughing, and he has a big, deep kind of belly laugh. Some of the people that work in our division, they always look forward to going to kickball because Pete would usually play and show up in a wig or some weird, thing. But they all pointed out, especially the newer people in our division, how good of an athlete Pete was. Or is. And he would motor around those bases, in kickball, and I was able to embellish a little bit and tell some of my new people that Pete was a professional beach volleyball player back in the day in Southern California. And so Pete is a legend down there, and it's kind of fun. I've been teasing Pete that he better make me his first friends request on Facebook.
I've been pretty fortunate to have some good bosses in my life, and he's definitely at the top of that list. He's a great guy to work with and for, and he's a city man for sure. And he'll hold his ground when he needs to, but he's very compassionate.
Pete, you've done an amazing job as a public works director. You really have created Richland into what it is today through the many, many projects that you've been a part of, whether it's design and engineer or putting together the funding and working with leaders at multiple agencies and at different levels, whether it's federal, state. You deserve your retirement. You've been an excellent public servant employee, and applaud everything that you've been able to accomplish.
All the time and effort that you put into this city and to the citizens, and you've made Richland a better place from all of the projects and your time and efforts that you put into it. And you've left the city better than where you found it, and we'll always appreciate that.
The longer reaching legacy of Pete is just going to be how he interacted with his staff. He's going to be remembered. He was always approachable. I just always felt that out of all the public works directors that I've seen since I've been here in my tenure, that Pete cared about us more. And that's just something that sticks with you. You don't forget that kind of thing.